Portions of this podcast are made possible through generous donations from patrons like @LonelyBob and Big Al V. If you aren't a patron yet and still want to help, you can like, comment, or subscribe and help the podcast grow.
Welcome to the Vicis Interimo 30 Minutes to Kill podcast.
You are listening to the Vicis Interimo Show, a horror entertainment show featuring horror, suspense, and psychological thrillers. You can find us at iTunes, Stitchers, Podomatic, and just about anywhere. Type in Vicis Interimo. I am your host, Michael Mad Saxon Jones, with my lovely wife and co-host, Lori. We generally have 4 segments to each show.
What's going on?
I don't know. I thought you said something.
I didn't say anything. I just realized we're doing a podcast.
What did you think we were doing here for the last 15 minutes?
I don't know.
I was talking about the podcast generally having 4 segments. The first one is Laid to Rest, where we recap old shows or anything that we may have missed. We have a review of a movie, which is...
Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
So the movie that we're going to talk about this week is Lights Out.
Hey, didn't we do that already?
Yes, we did, but we're going to stay on the positive note. Instead of saying this was the best podcast ever that was lost, this one we're going to record right now is going to be the best one ever because we've already had a dress rehearsal.
Okay. You know what? It was a really great show, though, and I don't think we can. I don't think we could duplicate it.
We can't duplicate it. We can only improve on it.
Because you know what? You had to go down. Where'd you go? You had to run out to the car to get something, and you left me sitting here by myself. I told everyone a big story about how I fell down the stairs and was laying at the bottom, all bleeding and freezing on the hard concrete, and you wouldn't come find me, and I told such a good story.
You know, I really am bummed because now I never get to hear that story because it didn't record.
I know.
So now
I lost the whole entire show.
I never know what you said.
I sang.
And you sang. I missed everything.
I know. And then you came back up from the car, and we finished out the podcast. It was a wrap. It was great. It was wonderful. And then you were like, hey, this has a big 0 on, like, how much time we've been recording. 0. That was great.
It was great.
I love when that happens.
So the movie we're going to talk about is Lights Out.
Again.
And then we'll have our Garbage In, Garbage Out segment where we talk about any movie or TV or books that we may have caught in the last week.
Oh, dear. Oh.
It's
because I did that already.
Okay.
I'll try to do it again. Oh, look, there's a kitty.
Wow.
Over by the trash can. There is.
Yeah.
Hi, Lola.
Yeah.
Oh, God, what is she?
And sometimes we end with a crawling chaos, which is a topic or a factoid or something we have never talked about on the show before. Sometimes silly, sometimes serious, most always chaotic.
Okay. We better move on to Laid to Rest then.
Okay. So, Laid to Rest, I was apologizing or discussing, or I'd mentioned the short little headshot that we did on our vacation there. I actually had to edit and put it together once we got back, but I did mention the fact that it featured a picture of me in the murder hallway.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. And if anybody's...
Murder hallway. Wait, the green murder hallway or the orange murder hallway?
The green murder hallway.
Well, Mom saw a picture of you in the murder garage, and she was like, oh, it looks like somebody was killed down there.
Exactly.
I know. I said, well, we've been calling it the Murder Garage for that very reason.
That picture, too, is on the Facebook page. If you go to Facebook, you can go to the Vicis Interimo 30 Minutes to Kill podcast page, and you can see a picture of me standing there pointing at the wall. What else did I have to say about the previous podcast? I don't know how good that was or how interesting it was, but I just thought it was interesting that people that suffer from night terrors or whatever always suffer the same thing or always describe the same thing. So anyhow, whatever. You can listen to that if you have, and if you haven't, whatever.
I still think you were abducted.
Great.
You keep that away from me, though.
All right.
There's few things that scare me, and I'm really not interested in alien abductions.
No, you don't want to be probed and prodded.
No. No.
All right.
I don't even like people touching me, so no.
Great. What a phobe. Anyhow.
Germs, man. Hey.
I think we need to move on and talk about Lights Out.
Okay.
Every time I turn off the lights, there's this woman waiting in the shadows.
I see her too. Each one of us is being haunted by this thing.
Mom?
Hey, Martin, what's up? Did we wake you?
What?
A long time ago, I had a friend named Diana. And something really bad happened to her.
Everyone is afraid of the dark. And that's what she feeds on.
Show yourself!
Becca? Are we gonna die?
No, we need to find more light.
So Lights Out is from 2016. We saw it in the theater just a couple months back.
Yeah.
Actually, it says here it came out July 22nd, and this is October already.
So it's several months back.
Yeah. All right. This is such a dumb, sorry. After spooking the pants off audiences with his 2013 short of the same name, director David F. Sandberg returns with a full-length exposition of the story, which follows two estranged siblings threatened by an evil spirit that descends with the dark. And this movie was PG-13.
Yeah. Well, you kind of covered it right there, but my initial assessment was that this was either a really great premise for a feature-length film or just a mediocre feature-length film. Not that I didn't like it.
How come I feel like we already talked about this? I'm sorry. I was going to throw in a response, and it's like, wait, I did already say that, but sorry.
That's okay. The response there, the thing is that, yes, we did talk about this. The fact is that it, and it already mentioned it in the synopsis there, that this is a fleshing out of a short.
Right.
And so that's still what it felt like, you know, for us. If you've listened to any of our podcasts at length, which at this point I'm wondering if you're still listening right now, yeah, it would be, we're all about the story.
Right.
And there wasn't enough story fleshing this whole thing out.
Well, I think you and I disagreed on that a little bit, because while I totally know what you mean, I didn't really notice that so much.
Okay. You thought all the characters were well developed, and I mean, we talked about...
No, I didn't say that, but it didn't give me the feeling of this would be better as a short story, or there wasn't enough here to make a movie.
Well...
Because it moved at a drawn-out pace, I guess. So is that what, was it just, did it not move along for you?
The information, the story, I felt like the meat of the story came in information dumps, and a very brief one
right
near the end of the film, which of course, I mean, sure, you build to this climax and so on, but there wasn't enough in this movie to really flush it out.
Right. So you would have maybe liked to know a little more about this spirit or whatever this thing was, or how it came to be, or okay.
And it doesn't have to be totally spelled out.
Right. Right.
We'll talk about another film soon that...
I guess I usually have a really strong opinion one way or another. Like, it either needed more or it didn't. Mm-hmm. But this one, I feel like it could go either way.
Really? Okay.
I mean, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Like, I can't really formulate a strong... Because I don't totally want to say, oh, no, it absolutely didn't need more. It was great how it was, because it totally could have used
more. The
more.
most thing was you weren't distracted by it. It didn't fall short in your eyes. It did in mine just a little bit. And that's, having said that, I enjoyed everything else about the film. I enjoyed the actress, the actors, all of the actors that were in there. I thought
everything was excellent.
The strongest piece, I think, was the special effects.
Okay.
And so on. We talked. Well, Maria Bello is one of my favorites in there and stuff.
She's great.
I first really noticed her in Payback, where she played in Payback, and one of the other movies that she was in was Big Driver, and I bring that up because last podcast I talked about reading Stephen King's Full Dark, No Stars.
Yeah.
And that was one of the short stories in there. Big Driver was that, and it turns out she was also in that. It was a Lifetime movie or something, but it was still based on a Stephen King story. But anyhow, so she's a great actor. Everybody in this was good, really.
Yes, and Maria Bello, she played the mother.
Right.
Yeah, and you find out. We talked. We did this already. I feel like we already talked about the story.
Nobody else has heard that, though.
I know that, but I
me.
wasn't going to talk about the story anymore because I thought we already did. But what I read for the synopsis didn't really give an idea of what the story is about. So should we share a little bit what the story is even about?
Well, yes. I mean, not obviously. Lights Out is what it's called, and so these folks are being haunted by a spirit that doesn't appear to be able to pass into any kind of light.
Right.
Ultraviolet light always is the Achilles heel, it would seem, of the supernatural.
Right.
But in this case, even a flashing light is enough to...
flashlight or whatever.
Whatever it might be isn't enough to stop this thing.
I'm sorry, where'd my kitty go? I think she needs to go outside. And she's going to pee in the house, somewhere in the house.
Well, go take her outside.
She won't go because it's all cold and dark and it was rainy. Hold on.
The movie, the story, like I said, the demon obviously seems to be allergic to light, for a better word.
Allergic to light?
I don't know how else to describe it.
It makes her sneeze.
Yeah.
Watery eyes and all that.
But you've got these, it almost ties in with that whole night terrors thing, seeing this shape
Right.
that you can't see during the light or